Have you ever tried using paid Facebook or Instagram ads to promote your online store, your e-commerce store? I'm sure as somebody who is running an online store, you'll agree that whatever marketing that you do, it never seems to be enough, and you're constantly needing to find more paying customers to place those lovely orders with you in order to grow your sales and reach your sales targets. You're constantly needing to get more traffic to your website, getting the right eyeballs onto your website, and you're needing to find a way to increase repeat orders from your existing or past customers, and increasing your average order value and all of that good stuff. And yet many online store owners that I speak to are unsure about trying Facebook ads or Facebook or Instagram ads, or they might have tried paid ads and just found them to be really expensive and that they haven't really generated the kind of sales results that they really need. And so why is that? I think I know why. So many of the productpreneurs and e-commerce store owners that I speak to on a daily basis, they just find it really overwhelming when they jump into the ads manager and they don't know how to go about setting up their ads correctly. And also, many of these business owners have made some very costly learning experiences trying things out. And so they're scared. They're scared to spend the money and they are scared to give it another go. Does any of that sound familiar to you? So what is the cost of running bad ads? And this is definitely what many are afraid of, and I can certainly sympathise. So if I tell you about an example of one of my clients, before she came to work with me, she was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, and her conversion rate to purchase was really low. And expensive. So it was costing her upwards of $40 just to convert one sale from her ads, which wouldn't be bad, if your product was kind of $150, $200 per order. But for her products were very low cost, and so when her ads were costing her that much, she was running at a loss, meaning her ads were costing her more than the sales she made back in return. And not only that, she actually really had no idea what aspect of her ad was converting and what was, what was pulling the performance down. And, if you can't tell what's working and what's not working, it's pretty hard to fix it, right? Luckily, after we worked together for a month or so, I was able to help reduce this client's advertising costs down to around $6 to $9 per conversion, which is actually very cheap. And her, the profit margin or her return on ad spend was very profitable. So then, what is the number one Facebook ad mistake that costs you money? Because I'm sure you would love to know how to avoid making that mistake in your own business. So the biggest issue that I see with most Facebook and Instagram ads for e-commerce businesses is not necessarily that the images or text are bad. Sometimes that might be contributing, but it's usually not that's causing it. It's not usually that the targeting is off. Sometimes I do see problems with targeting, but it's not normally the major problem either. And it's also not that they haven't installed their Facebook tracking pixel and unable to track the results of their ads. Lots of people do miss this step as well, but many have that in place by now. So what is the number one biggest mistake? And it is this. It is failing to understand how your customers buy, particularly when we're advertising on a social media platform. It's a little bit different when you're advertising somewhere like Google, where people do typically go and Google when they are ready to place a transaction. So failing to understand how your customers buy is a really big problem. Have you ever heard that phrase, people need to get to know, like, and trust you before they're going to be ready to buy from you? I know it's a well-worn phrase, but what it really means in this case is that showing a buy now salesy message to people who have never come across you before and don't know you from a bar of soap, it's just not going to work. You might get a little bit of traction, but it's going to be expensive and it's not likely to convert into the kind of sales volume that you're really looking for. And that's because these people aren't ready to buy yet, but it doesn't mean that they're not your ideal audience. They could be. What you need to be able to do is to engage with them and nurture them and, educate them about your product benefits and so on and so forth, and just generally warm them up a little bit before you ask them to buy. So the point of this is that the single ad campaign no longer exists. Many times when I do speak to e-commerce store owners who are trying to get their ads to work, when they say, I tried Facebook ads and it didn't work for me, I spent a lot of money and I just didn't make any sales. The problem wasn't the ad, it's just that they only ran one ad, right? They set up a salesy, promotionally kind of message and that was inviting a cold audience to click through to their website and buy right away. They might have been using some fairly heavy-handed, promotional language, scarcity and discounts and free shipping and blah blah blah. But that's not going to work so well on a social media platform when these people aren't familiar with you. So, and then when this ad doesn't work, they just want to give up straight away. So what you need to be doing instead is employing the multiple ad campaign strategy. So first you want to run an ad that is kind of attracting and warming up your cold audience so that you can educate them a little bit about your brand and the benefits of your product and get them over to your website and having a look around at your products. You definitely want people buying off this ad, but it's never going to be as profitable as if you employ retargeting as well. So the second ad is where you are retargeting people who have been onto your website and looked at your products. And this particular campaign can be a little bit more promotional because this audience is already warmed up. Now, of course, there is way more involved in setting up and running successful and profitable Facebook ad campaigns. And to help you along that road, I invite you to jump over onto my blog and download my free guide. It is called The 5 Must-Use Facebook Ad Strategies for Productpreneurs. So I'm Catherine Langman, tuning in from Productpreneur Success HQ. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let's go get them today. Bye for now.